His wife said, "I'd rather kiss my dog than kiss you. You don't even meet my standards. Stay away from me." What he did next crushed her. "I'd rather kiss my dog than kiss you, Travis. You don't even meet my standards. Stay away from me." Those were the last words Harper Donald hurled at her husband in the ballroom before passionately kissing her lover right in front of him, unaware that the man standing before her had already positioned himself for the most ruthless and legally airtight retaliation in history. She didn't know that the quiet man she humiliated had already decided exactly how her downfall would unfold. What happened next will make you rethink everything you think you know about respect, betrayal, and consequences. Viewers, what would you do if your spouse said those exact words to you in a ballroom? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The ballroom glowed with warm gold light, the kind that softened everything it touched. Crystal chandeliers hung like frozen fireworks above the crowd, scattering reflections across champagne glasses, sequined dresses, and polished shoes. A soft, elegant jazz band floated their notes across the room, weaving through laughter, congratulations, and the hum of networking conversations. Tonight wasn't just any corporate gathering. Tonight was Harper Donald's night. Her name was printed in clean, modern font across banners draped at the entrance. Congratulations, Harper Donald, Director of Operations. Co-workers surrounded her in a semicircle of admiration, their voices overlapping with praise. "You earned it, Harper. Finally, someone competent in that department. You're going straight to VP in no time." Harper soaked it all in. She wore a form-fitting emerald dress that hugged her curves and matched her confidence. Her hair was styled in soft waves that framed her angular cheekbones. Red lipstick, diamond earrings, a bold watch, all carefully chosen to project power. Every laugh she released was loud enough to be heard across the ballroom. Every gesture was deliberate. This was her stage, and her husband, Travis Donald, stood quietly along the wall watching. Travis had never been the loud type. He wore a simple navy suit, not designer, not flashy. Just clean, pressed, and dignified. His hair was neatly cut, his beard trimmed. He looked like a man who carried calm in his bloodstream. The kind of man people underestimated because he didn't need to announce himself. He held a glass of water instead of champagne. He wasn't here to drink or network. He was here because he loved his wife. Because he believed marriage meant showing up, even when you stood alone in the back of the room while everyone celebrated her as if she were unattached. He watched Harper laugh with a group of executives. She didn't introduce him. She didn't look his way. She didn't even acknowledge his presence beyond a forced half-smile when he entered. Still, he approached her with gentle confidence. He walked across the marble floor, weaving through clusters of employees, offering polite nods. When he reached her, he touched her elbow lightly. "Harper," he said softly, "congratulations. You look incredible tonight." She glanced at him, the corners of her mouth lifting only because several people nearby were watching. "Thank you," she replied, then turned back to her circle. Not a single person acknowledged him. She didn't introduce him. She didn't break her conversation. She treated him like a background prop, a familiar ache pressed against his ribs. He swallowed it and tried again. "Can we dance?" he asked. "Just one?" Harper paused. Her co-workers turned toward them with amused curiosity. She couldn't refuse without looking rude. She forced a gracious smile and said, "Sure, why not?" Her tone had the warmth of a cold marble countertop. They walked onto the dance floor as the band shifted into a slow, romantic tune. Other couples joined them, swaying gently under the glow of the chandeliers. Travis placed his hands gently on Harper's waist. She stiffened. He ignored the sting and focused on the reason he came, to support her accomplishment, to celebrate her success, to remind her that they were a team. He leaned closer, close enough to kiss her cheek, something small and intimate. But Harper jerked her head away so sharply the movement startled the couple dancing beside them. Her voice cut through the music, loud enough for the nearest tables to hear. "Travis, don't do that." He blinked. I was just... She backed up, leaving a gap between them. People slowed their dancing to watch. Harper placed a dramatic hand on her hip and said louder, "God, Travis, seriously? I'd rather kiss my dog than kiss you right now." Laughter erupted around them, genuine, cruel, unfiltered. Someone near the bar yelled, "Damn!" Travis's ears rang. His body went still, but he didn't step back, didn't lash out, didn't argue. He stood with quiet dignity, holding pain the way only strong men knew how. Internally, Harper wasn't finished. She flipped her hair back, her voice dripping with humiliation and performance. "You don't even meet my standard," she said, delivering the line as if it were a punchline she'd been waiting to use. "Stay away from me, Travis." The laughter doubled. A few people covered their mouths. Some didn't bother. Travis exhaled a slow, controlled release meant to steady himself. He looked at Harper, really looked at her, and saw a stranger wearing his wife's face. But beneath the sting of humiliation, something inside him began to shift, not rage, not embarrassment, resolve. He straightened his posture, eyes calm, breath steady. The band attempted to save the atmosphere, playing louder, trying to distract from the tension thickening in the air. But the damage had already been done. People weren't dancing anymore. They were watching, whispering, nudging each other as if they'd been handed front-row tickets to the most scandalous moment of the year. Harper didn't try to walk away quietly. She thrived on spectacle. She always had. The more eyes on her, the louder she became. And right now, she was intoxicated by the attention, by the fact that for once, Travis wasn't the center of her universe. She wanted to prove something, to herself, to everyone, to him. She turned to the crowd with a smirk, raising her voice just enough to guarantee no one would miss it. "You know what?" she said, tapping the microphone on a nearby stand. "If I'm going to kiss anyone tonight, it's going to be someone who actually excites me." People gasped. Others leaned forward. A buzz of anticipation rippled across the ballroom. Travis, still motionless on the dance floor, watched her with unreadable eyes. He wasn't angry. He wasn't panicking. He wasn't begging. He simply watched, which unsettled Harper more than any outburst could have. She thought humiliation would break him. Instead, his silence made him feel untouchably powerful. Harper snapped her fingers dramatically. "Ethan," she called, tilting her head toward the entrance. "Come join me, baby." Several heads whipped to the doorway. A tall, handsome man in a wine-colored blazer stepped into view, his stride confident, his smile smug. Ethan Blackwell, tall, fit, square jaw, expensive haircut, wearing a burgundy blazer and a watch that cost more than most people's rent. He wasn't an employee of Silverline. Innovations, he wasn't part of Harper's corporate circle. He wasn't invited by anyone but her. He was a manager at another firm entirely, one she had been seeing behind Travis's back for months. And tonight Harper had decided to bring him into their marriage space just to make a point. Ethan strutted toward the stage with a smirk, straightening his blazer like he was preparing for a photo shoot. The audacity alone sent a ripple of disbelief through the crowd. Harper grabbed Ethan's tie and kissed him like she wanted the whole ballroom to witness her rebellion. The crowd gasped, phones rose, and laughter spilled around them like broken glass. But as Harper's lips pressed against another man's mouth, Travis went still. So still the world around him seemed to slow down. The music dimmed. Conversations muted. Even the bright ballroom lights softened into a blur. And in that strange, suspended moment, a memory, no, a lifetime, opened inside him. It began with his mother. He could still see her hands, thin, cracked from years of scrubbing floors, wiping tables, cleaning strangers' messes, hands that held his face gently, even when her own world was breaking. Amelia Donald. Too young, too hopeful, punished for loving the wrong man and for carrying a child her family refused to accept. "Get out," her father had said. "You are no daughter of mine," her mother had whispered. The door slammed behind her, and she never walked back in. Travis watched his mother work herself into exhaustion day after day in cheap motels, diners, laundromats, yet she smiled at him every night as if she hadn't spent the day wiping away other people's filth. "You're my miracle," she always said, brushing his hair back. "One day you'll build something beautiful." He remembered cold winters, sleeping on worn couches. He remembered helping her count tips at midnight. He'd remembered her humming songs to hide the sound of her crying. And then he remembered her death. The hospital's hallway smelled of bleach and grief. She held his hand and whispered, "Don't hate them. Just live better than they ever did. Build your own world, sweetheart." She died with his name on her lips. At her funeral, Travis realized he was alone. Truly alone. No relatives, no friends. Just the memory of her love and the echo of her sacrifices. Then, months later, a letter arrived. Then a phone call. Then a car sent to pick him up. Her family, his grandparents, were old now, frail, grim with regret. They confessed everything, the shame, the guilt, the years spent wondering where their daughter had gone, whether she was alive, whether she had forgiven them. They wanted to make amends before death took them too. Their repentance came with a paper trail, wills, property titles, corporate documents, Silver Line Innovations, a multi-billion-dollar company, a family legacy. And in a conference room filled with lawyers, his grandparents transferred every single share to him. Their guilt crystallized into ownership. He became, overnight, the largest shareholder in the entire corporation. He was 24 then. The board wanted him as chairman. He refused. "I want a design," he said. "I want a life that looks like mine, not yours. Choose someone trustworthy to run the company. I'll stay in the shadows." And so he lived quietly, deliberately, peacefully, creating, designing, building the kind of life his mother always wanted for him. For 8 years, no one knew his net worth, no one knew his influence, no. One knew he could bring an entire executive floor to its knees with a single call, not even Harper. Especially not Harper. The present came roaring, back as Harper moaned into Ethan's mouth, clutching his blazer. The ballroom cheered, whistled, and laughed, every sound a nail driven deeper into the coffin of their marriage. Travis blinked, the memory settling inside him like armor. He didn't feel heartbreak. He felt clarity. The same clarity he felt when he watched his mother walk away from everything she knew and rebuild a life from ashes. The same clarity he felt when he inherited the power to make or break an empire. The same clarity he felt when he promised himself he would never allow anyone, family, enemies, or lover, to disrespect the life he had bled to build. Harper finally pulled away from Ethan's lips, her lipstick smudged, chest rising and falling with the thrill of humiliation she believed she'd inflicted. She expected to see Travis shattered. She found him, calm in a way that chilled the air around him. He slowly reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his phone. People judged his silence incorrectly. They whispered, "He's gonna cry. He's calling a friend. He's embarrassed." They didn't know the truth. Travis unlocked his phone with a quiet swipe, found a single contact. Pressed. Call. Harper scoffed. "Who are you calling, Travis?" He raised the phone to his ear, eyes locked on hers, expression unreadable. The call connected. "Hello?" A woman's voice answered. In a voice steady enough to slice marble, Travis said, with immediate effect, "I want Harper Donald fired." Gasps burst around the room. He didn't shout, he didn't explain, he didn't justify. He hung up and slipped the phone back into his pocket with the silence of a man who had just awakened the power he spent years hiding. The ballroom held its breath. Travis wasn't reacting to humiliation. He was ending an era. The ballroom buzzed with disbelief, raw, nervous, disorganized disbelief. Guests whispered behind champagne glasses, behind folded programs, behind trembling fingers. Some laughed awkwardly. Others stared at Travis with wide eyes. Harper blinked rapidly, trying to laugh the moment off. "You're unbelievable," she scoffed, brushing her hair back as if she were flicking away a bad joke. "You really think you are a big shot?" Her voice stopped, because Travis wasn't looking at her anymore. He wasn't looking at Ethan. He wasn't even looking at the crowd. He was standing with the stillness of a judge delivering a sentence, calm, in control, detached from the chaos he had already predicted. The ballroom erupted in whispers. What did he say? He fired her? Is he drunk? He doesn't have that kind of power. Wait. He called HR directly. Harper forced a laugh, louder this time, manic around the edges. Everyone relax, she said, waving her hand as if dismissing schoolchildren. Travis likes theatrics. You know how dramatic he is. He's just a mere designer, nothing more. Dramatic. That word landed like dust on stone. Travis didn't flinch. He simply stepped back from the microphone and watched the room behave exactly like people do when they smell blood. Some people laughed nervously. Some moved away from Harper as if distance would protect them from whatever was about to happen. A few, very few, looked at Travis with growing unease. Ethan cleared his throat, straightening his blazer, attempting to salvage the spotlight. "Babe," he whispered to Harper, "maybe we should step outside." "No," she snapped. "He's trying to embarrass me. I'm not giving him the satisfaction." And as the laughter around them rippled, Travis's mind slipped, not backward in surrender, but backward into memory, into the truth she never bothered to ask about. The memory came like a wave. The first time Harper applied for Silverline, she got rejected. She came home crying, angry, frustrated, calling the company heartless for overlooking her potential. Travis held her while she sobbed into his chest. "They didn't even give me an interview," she said. "They said I don't have enough experience." He stayed silent, not because he didn't care, but because he knew what he would do next. The next morning, he walked into the same building she believed she had failed to impress, through a private elevator, escorted by security who knew him by name, straight to the executive floor. He entered the boardroom, where directors rose to greet him. "Mr. Donald," the chairman said warmly, "to what do we owe the pleasure?" Travis placed her resume on the table. "I want her employed," he said. "Entry level. Let her earn the rest." They didn't question him, they didn't hesitate, they didn't discuss. They obeyed, and Harper received a surprising callback the next day. An interview she thought she earned herself. He remembered standing outside the building during her interview, leaning against his car, waiting to celebrate with her. When she came out smiling, believing she had been chosen for her talent, he didn't correct her. He wanted her to grow. He wanted her to shine. He wanted her to feel capable. And she did. For a while. When she wanted new clothes for her job, he worked longer nights designing custom projects to afford them. When she wanted a better car to look the part, he sold a rare antique drafting table that belonged to his mother. When she wanted a vacation with her new colleagues, he quietly paid the difference she didn't know she owed. He helped her climb every rung of the ladder, while she loosened the bolts under his feet. He remembered her promotion, how she brags to friends about how her boss finally recognized her brilliance. She never knew the truth. She never knew. Travis had walked into another board meeting, slid printed performance stats her way, and said, "She deserves more. Give her a shot." She never knew the board voted yes because of him. She never knew her salary bump came from a directive he signed quietly. She never knew her new office existed because he requested a renovation budget. She never knew that every step upward she credited to her charm came from his shadow. And now she stood in the ballroom, humiliating him, calling him beneath her, telling him he didn't meet her standards. The memory burned through him like a controlled fire. He inhaled deeply and looked at her, not with anger, not with pain, but with the silent recognition of a man who finally saw the truth. She never loved him. She loved what he provided. She loved what she thought she earned. She loved her reflection, not the man holding the mirror. The present snapped back around him. Ethan had disappeared from her side. Guests still whispered. Harper stood stiff, arms crossed, trying to hide her shaking hands. "You can't do anything, Travis," she said. "You're embarrassing yourself. You don't have power here." Travis blinked slowly. Then he reached for his phone again. Calm, steady, final. The ballroom watched. What is he doing now? He's calling someone else? This guy is really losing his mind. He thinks he's a CEO. Travis dialed the second number and put it on speaker. It connected instantly. "This is Chairman Ellis," the voice answered. "Who is—" "It's Travis," he said simply. Silence crackled across the ballroom. Then the chairman's voice straightened with, Respect Member Donald, sir. Harper's heart dropped. I want every board member in the ballroom within 30 minutes. Travis said quietly, yes. Sir, immediately. He ended the call. The ballroom froze. Her phone buzzed once, then again, then a third time. The sound was small, barely audible beneath the murmurs, but the timing was catastrophic. She tried to ignore. The phone buzzed harder, an urgent, persistent vibration. With a huff, she pulled her phone out of her purse. The screen lit her face. Incoming call. Chair Director, Silverline Innovations. Her smile died. The color drained from her cheeks, leaving her face a shade too pale for the warm ballroom lights. Her chest tightened as she slowly pressed the green button. Hello? She managed. The room remained silent, waiting. Guests leaned in. Some stepped closer. Others held their breath. Beat, then another. Then Harper's face collapsed into horror. The HR director's voice was loud enough that those closest could hear the words spilling through the phone. Mrs. Harper, you are fired. Harper trembled so violently her phone nearly slipped from her hand. No, she whispered. No, this has to be a mistake. What are you talking about? I just got promoted. Whispers spread like wildfire. He did fire her. What is happening? This can't be real. Who is he? Does he have that kind of power? Harper staggered backward, bumping into Ethan's chest. He tried to steady her, but she shook him off, her mind scrambling to make sense of the impossible. The ballroom hummed with a tension so sharp it felt like electricity crawling through the air. Every guest could sense that something irreversible had just been set in motion. They didn't understand it. They didn't know why the chairman had addressed Travis as Sir. They didn't know why Travis had the authority to summon the entire board and get Harper fired. But they knew one thing. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a meltdown. This was power. Power wearing a quiet man's face. Harper stood there trembling, her mascara smearing as she tried to keep her composure. She opened her mouth to say something, anything, but nothing came. Her lips quivered like someone trying to hold in a scream. People stared, whispers rolling like waves through the ballroom. Why would the chairman call him Sir? Who is he? Why is the board coming? This is bigger than marriage drama. Oh God, what did she do? Harper finally found her voice. Travis, please, you didn't mean that call, right? You didn't mean it. He didn't look at her. He looked at his watch. 15 minutes had already passed. The doors at the back of the ballroom swung open, and security stepped in first. Dressed in tailored black suits, earpieces glowing faint blue as they scanned the room with precise movements. Someone gasped. Someone dropped their drink. Someone clutched their pearls as if witnessing royalty. Behind the security team came the chairman, Chairman Ellis, a man who rarely appeared at social company functions, a man employees saw maybe once a year if they were lucky, a man feared and respected in equal measure. He walked in briskly, flanked by directors, CFOs, senior advisors, and several of the company's most powerful decision-makers. They wore stern, focused expressions, not confused ones. They didn't look surprised. They looked summoned. They approached the center of the ballroom, and then it happened, in front of Harper, in front of every guest, in front of the cameras that had been recording. The scandal moments before, Chairman Ellis stopped in front of Travis and bowed his head. Mr. Donald, he said quietly, we came as fast as we could. The entire ballroom recoiled in shock. Gasps, whispers, wide eyes, hands covering mouths. Ethan, half hidden behind a pillar, stood frozen, horrified. Travis nodded once. Thank you. The board members followed suit, offering respectful greetings. Mr. Donald. Sir. Good evening, Mr. Donald. Harper's knees buckled. She stumbled forward. Her hand reached for the table to stop her fall. No, she whispered. No. This can't be real. The chairman turned respectfully toward Travis. We are ready to discuss whatever matter you wish. Addressed, Travis gestured calmly toward Harper. It concerns her. All eyes shifted. Harper felt the weight of their stares like fire on her skin. The chairman continued, "The HR director already contacted us, and action has been taken. The letter is already in her email and HR has called her too." Harper collapsed to her knees. "No, please, Mr. Ellis, sir, I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know." She crawled the short distance between her and Travis and grabbed his pant leg desperately. "Travis, please, baby, please, I swear I didn't mean anything I said. It was just a joke. The devil, yes, the devil, he used me. Please forgive me, please." He stepped back. Her hands slipped off him like water. He looked down at her the way a judge looks at a verdict he'd already accepted. "You didn't know who I was because you never cared to know," he said. "I was convenient, useful, good enough to fund you, support you, help you climb, but never enough to respect." She sobbed harder, clutching her chest. "I'll do anything, Travis, anything, just don't leave me like this. Don't ruin me." He leveled his gaze on her. Unblinking. Cold. Done. "You ruined yourself." The crowd murmured, shaken. Harper shook her head violently. "I'll change. I swear I'll change. Just, please, please don't destroy everything I've worked for." He exhaled slowly. "You didn't work for it," he said. "I built every step for you. I got you into this company. I got you promoted. I fought for you behind the scenes while you mocked me in public." Her sobbing turned into screams of disbelief. "No. No, please, please don't do this." Harper grabbed his trousers again, sobbing, her tears streaking the marble floor. "Travis, please, I'm begging you, don't leave me, don't do this, please." Travis looked down at her, and this time there was no hesitation, no softness, no trace of the man who once carried her dreams on his back. He spoke sharply, clearly, like a verdict. "You'll hear from my lawyer." Harper gasped, shaking. "Travis, no, please." He cut her off. "And don't think you're getting a dime." Her eyes widened in horror. "No, Travis, please don't leave me with nothing." "The prenup stands." She froze. Her mouth fell open. Her voice died in her throat, but he wasn't done. He leaned just slightly closer, not for intimacy, but precision. "You shot yourself in the leg the moment you kissed another man in front of me, and in front of the guests." The words landed like gunfire. The crowd trembled. Harper broke completely, collapsing into full sobs. "Travis, please don't, please, please, please." The board stepped aside as Travis approached the exit. He straightened his jacket, lifted his chin, walked like the man he truly was, not the shadow she had made him. Harper pounded the floor with her fist. "Travis!" He didn't stop. He didn't look back. The ballroom watched as the man they once overlooked walked out with absolute power and dignity. And the woman who mocked him was left on the floor, shattered beyond repair. Viewers, if you were in Travis' shoes, what would you do? Do you think Harper deserves a second chances? Drop your thoughts in the comment and don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting and true-to-life stories.